blood on her hands wasn't hers. Hey, night listener. Tonight we enter the shadows. Dim streetlights flicker like dying stars above the wet alley. Your footsteps echo against the glistening pavement, swallowed by the fog that never seems to clear. A neon sign hums above a closed deli. Open. It lies, somewhere far off. A siren moans like it's already given up. You shouldn't have turned left, but you did. And that's when you see her. She stumbles out from the darkness barefoot, shaking, clothes torn at the seams. Blood smears her hands, her collarbone, her mouth. Her hair clings to her face in soaked clumps. She looks straight at you with eyes that shouldn't be that calm. Please, she whispers, help me. If this story found you, maybe it's because you've been followed too. So, before we vanish into this mystery, like the video and subscribe only if you can handle the truth buried beneath the lies. Let me know in the comments, are you more drawn to the truth, the thrill, or the justice? Now lock your doors, take a deep breath, and follow me into the dark. You take her in, because of course you do. You're the type who saves things stray cats, love letters, people bleeding in alleys. She sits at your kitchen table, fingers wrapped around a chipped mug, steam rising from the tea you made to keep yourself from asking too many questions. She tells you her name is Chloe, that a man dragged her into a van, tied her up, threatened her. She escaped, she says. When he stepped outside to take a phone call, she ran. You believe me, right? She asks, voice breaking like glass underfoot. You nod because you want to, because the alternative is worse. But something's off. The blood on her hands, it's dry and thick, not like it came from her, more like it rested there, too long, too still. And when she sips her tea, her hand doesn't shake, not even once. You walk into the bathroom and close the door, not to pee, not to wash your face, but to breathe, to think. You look in the mirror, and for a second, you don't see yourself. You see her, smiling, like she knows you're watching. You splash water on your face, shake it off. But when you come back, she's holding the mug with both hands now. The blood is gone. You glance at the towel on the counter, still clean. Did you begin? She shrugs, sips, then sets the mug down hard enough to crack the rim. There's more, she says, but I didn't want to scare you. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You sit across from her, and suddenly you notice her nails. Perfect. No scratches, no grime, not the hands of someone who clawed their way out of anything. I should call the cops. You murmur, no. She says it too fast, too flat. Why not? She pauses. Then, he's still out there. Everyone lies, especially the quiet ones. She looks at you like she's memorizing something behind your eyes, like she's already decided what role you'll play. And suddenly, you're not sure who invited whom into whose story. Her story, changed before the coffee, cooled. You wake to the smell of coffee, not yours, hers. She's in your kitchen, like she's always belonged there, humming something low and off-key. The same mug cracked rim, faint lipstick stain sits in her hand again, like it never left. She doesn't notice you watching, or maybe she does, and wants you to. When she finally looks up, her smile is different this morning, lighter, looser, like the fear evaporated overnight. I made eggs, she says. Hope you don't mind. You do, you just don't say it. Because something about her makes you feel like a guest in your own space. You sit. She sets a plate down, scrambled, overdone, too much pepper. She sits across from you, tucks her legs under her like this is a picnic instead of a crime scene follow-up. I was thinking about last night. She begins, like your old friends revisiting a bad date. I remembered more. You wait. She pushes a strand of hair behind her ear, eyes flickering just a second too long. He had a scar, she says, on his right cheek. I didn't tell you that, did I? No, she didn't. And last night, she said she never saw his face. You nod anyway. She notices, keeps going. Yeah, and a lisp. He kept calling me precious, like some messed up Gollum thing. Your fork pauses midair. Last night, she said he didn't speak. At all? You knew, but pretended you didn't. Because lies this early in the morning are usually just fear. Right. You glance at your phone. No missed calls from the police. No updates on the news. No Amber Alerts. No anything. You're not even sure what you're waiting for. A headline. A missing person report. A body. She reaches for your hand. You flinch just barely, but she feels it. Withdraws. Laughs. I must sound crazy. She says, I'm just still sorting it out. You nod, because it's easier than pushing. But then she says something that freezes you. I should have just stayed at the motel. Motel? You never mentioned a motel. You never asked where she came from. She notices your eyes narrow. Backpedals. I mean, if I'd had money for one, she adds. Smile brittle. Everyone lies, especially the ones who talk too much. You clear your plate. The food tastes like ash now. When you turn back around, she's staring out the window. The alley I ran from, she murmurs. Was it near a red door? It was green. You remember the chipped paint vividly. The way the lock had been ripped out and rusted clean. Yeah, you lie. Red. She smiles again. This one doesn't reach her eyes. It never did. You glance at the cracked rim of the mug still in her hand. You wonder if it's always been broken, or if someone like her broke it on purpose to see if you'd notice. What if you've been the suspect all along? A shattered frame, a hidden face. You can't sleep. Not because of the creaking pipes, not because of the wind tapping at your bedroom window like a memory trying to get back in. It's her. She hums again, low and tuneless, in the dark. Not in your bed, not on the couch. She's in the kitchen, again, where she shouldn't be. You lie still, watching the ceiling like it might crack open and confess something. At some point, the humming stops, but your nerves don't. You get up quiet, barefoot. Her bag is on the floor beside the couch, the zipper halfway open. You pause, long enough to ask yourself the question that matters. Is she really asleep? The answer doesn't come, so you open it. A charger, a crushed pack of gum, a key with no tag, and a phone. Dead. You plug it in. Wait. The screen flickers to life, like something exhaling for the first time. No lock, no wallpaper, just a row of apps and 2 missed calls. You tap the gallery, photos, mostly dark, but one folder's labeled Keep. Your thumb hovers. You press. Inside, a dozen images, selfies, street shots, motel curtains, a diner plate. Nothing strange until the 8th image, a photo of her in your apartment, taken from outside the window. Same mug in her hand, same cracked rim, but you never saw her take it. Another one closer. She's looking directly at the camera, smiling. Behind her, a man, eyes closed, face partially hidden. You zoom in and freeze. The frame on the shelf behind her, the one you smashed last year and never replaced, is whole. The photo's still there. A shot of you, with someone you thought was out of your life for good. Caleb, the man she swore she never met, the one she said hurt her. Everyone lies, especially the ones who say they don't know you. You exit the gallery, check the voicemail tab, one saved. From a blocked number, you press play. She's not who she says she is. She's not the one in danger. You are. Your breath catches. You look over. She's not on the couch anymore. The bathroom door is open. Light off. Then your phone vibrates. A new message from her number. Just one word. Why? You glance around. You're not sure if the question is about the phone or something deeper. Like, why did you let her in? Why didn't you ask sooner? Why are you only listening now? The screen dims. You look at the window, and for a brief second, just before the night swallows your reflection, you think you see her face again, smiling, but not at you, at something behind you. You turn. Nothing there, except her bag, now zipped, and the phone gone from your hand. The voice on the voicemail was hers. You sit on the floor, heart hammering against your ribs like it's trying to escape before you do. The phone is gone. You didn't put it back, and you didn't hear her take it. But the couch cushion's been shifted just enough, the kind of detail she wanted you to notice. You rise slowly, each step toward the kitchen feeling like crossing into someone else's house. Her coffee mug still sitting there, still cracked, still warm. You don't touch it. Not this time. Instead, you check your own phone. You never turned off your voicemail alerts. And maybe that's a small mercy. One new message, time stamped, 12 a.m. You play it. White noise, then static, sharp enough to bite. Then her voice clear, controlled, not afraid. He's not going to let me go, is he? A pause, the faint squeak of a chair. Then a second voice, male, unfamiliar. Depends on how well you sell it. She doesn't answer. Instead, you hear the clink of a glass being lifted. A sip. Then she laughs. Low, unbothered. Not the kind of laugh you'd expect from someone escaping trauma. The kind you'd expect from someone rehearsing a part. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You rewind it. Play it again. Still her voice. Still his. But who was the he she meant, you or someone else? And then a third sound rises from the background. A ticking clock. Steady. Precise. Too familiar. You walk to the bookshelf, where the old mantel clock sits, your mother's. You haven't wound it in years, but now it's ticking, loud and smooth, as if someone has been winding it every night. You touch the glass, warm. Was she the one keeping time or resetting it? You check your front door, still locked, deadbolt latched, but there's a small smear of blood on the knob. Not fresh, not dry, something in between. You move to the window. Fog outside, streetlights casting that yellow bruised hue across the pavement. And there, just below the window, a faint mark on the glass, like a fingertip, drawn in something thick. You squint. It's not random. It's a shape, a spiral. No, a loop, unfinished, open at one end, the symbol for something incomplete or ongoing. You clean it with your sleeve, but it doesn't come off. You scrape it with your fingernail, still there, like it's inside the glass now, or always was. Everyone lies, especially the ones who look you in the eye when they do. You go back to the couch, her blankets folded neatly, her bag gone, no note, no goodbye, but the scent of her shampoo still lingers, faint jasmine, cloying, almost artificial. You check the kitchen. The mug is empty, clean, like it was never touched. You look in the trash. It's not there. Nothing is. Empty, except for one thing. Tucked at the very bottom, a photograph, crushed and torn. Your hallway, your door, and her standing in front of it the day before she found you, staring at the peephole, smiling, like she already knew you'd let her in. Word count 1192. Awaiting. Continue. Ban Danoi. Continue. ChatGPT Danoi. Section 5. Everyone believed her, even you. The detective calls you that afternoon, not because you reached out, because she did. He wants to follow up on her report, get a sense of what you witnessed, what condition she was in, whether she said anything odd. You lie. You say she was shaken. You say she barely spoke. You say she didn't sleep, didn't eat, that she sobbed until dawn, because that's the version she left behind. And somehow, you want to protect it. Did she mention the attacker, he asks, voice dry like the bottom of an old whiskey glass. Give a name. You hesitate. No. You say, she said she didn't see him. Pause. She gave us a name. The detective says, a first and last. Said she was too scared to say it. The first time. You grip the edge of your kitchen counter. Who? A shuffle of papers on his end. Caleb Ward. The room shrinks. That name again. The ghost you buried years ago. The one you didn't want to resurrect. She said he followed her across state lines. The detective continues. That she came to you because you were the only person who might understand what he was capable of. Understand, not believe, because she knew you had history with him. She used it. You asked the detective where she is now. He hesitates. She left the station this morning, said she needed air. You already know she won't be back. He thanks you and hangs up. You don't. You stay there. The line dead in your hand. You open your browser. Search Caleb's name. No arrest record. No social media. Just a few blurry mentions in message boards. And one photo. An old news clipping from 6 years ago. You're in it. Barely. Background of a protest. Holding a sign you barely remember writing. Caleb is beside you. Smiling. Hand on your shoulder. The caption reads, Advocates rally for campus assault awareness. She would have seen this. Anyone could have. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You close the laptop. Stand. There's something on your wall. Above the couch. Not art. Not framed. Just a message. Scrawled in lipstick. Thanks for making them believe. You touch it. Still wet. Fresh. She was here. Again. She's always a step ahead, always curating the version of her that's easiest to forgive. You were never a refuge. You were a stage. Everyone lies, especially the ones who make you feel heroic. You check your front door. Still locked. No signs of forced entry. But there, taped to the inside a Polaroid of you, sleeping, last night, from above. And written on the bottom, even the good ones lie. The nightclub that didn't exist. You follow her trail the only way you can now, through lies. She said the assault happened after a night out. That she was lured into a stranger's car outside Club Meridian. It was the detail she repeated the most because it was supposed to sound believable. So you search it. No listings, no reviews. No social check-ins, nothing. You check Google Maps. There was a Club Meridian. Was. A fire closed it down 14 months ago. She said it happened last week. You called the fire department. The man on the phone confirms it. Says the place never reopened. Total loss. He mutters, surprised anyone remembers it. But she did. She didn't just remember, she placed herself inside it. You go there. What's left is a boarded up building. Blackened windows like scorched eyes. The stink of mold and forgotten promises hanging in the air. And on the sidewalk, someone's scratched a word into the concrete with a key. Liar. It's old, faded, but still there. And suddenly, you wonder, Was she trying to expose a lie? Or just build one where the ruins were convenient? You circle the building. There's graffiti across the back door, tags, a few crude drawings, and one line in red paint. Truth burns slower than people do. You take a photo, zoom in, because beneath it, etched faintly into the wood, a name, yours. Not spray paint, not ink, carved. How did she know you'd come here? Unless she meant you to. Unless the lie was meant to be found. You knew, but pretended you didn't. Inside, the club is nothing but soot and ash. But tucked beneath the charred DJ booth, you find something. A lighter, engraved with a tiny, precise C.W. Caleb Ward. You pocket it. It's warm, like it's only recently been left. Outside, a car slows, dark windows, no plates. You freeze, the engine idles, then pulls off. Gone, but not gone. You return to your car, find the back door ajar. You didn't leave it that way. Inside, your glove compartment's open. Your notepad, where you've been tracking her story, is gone. In its place, a napkin from a motel, underlined in Red Room 6. Ask for Jane. You stare at it. There was no motel in her story, but now it's all that remains of it. Everyone lies, especially the ones who give you just enough truth to follow them. She had the knife. Before the break-in, the motel looks like it belongs to another decade. Peeling siding, flickering vacancy sign, and a front desk behind a smudged window that seems less like glass and more like a fogged-up lie. You don't ask for Chloe. You ask for Jane. The clerk stooped. With nicotine-stained fingers, doesn't blink. Room 6. Key is physical, heavy, rusted teeth. The kind of key that doesn't just unlock it, remembers. You walk past the first 5 rooms, curtains drawn, lights off. Number 6 has its blinds open. Inside, the light is on. You hesitate, then knock. No answer. So you turn the key. It clicks louder than it should. Inside, clean. Too clean. A motel this rundown shouldn't smell like bleach. On the bed, folded sheets, and on top of them, the knife. Small, black-handled, serrated edge. You don't have to guess. It's hers. You saw it in the evidence photo the detective texted earlier. Same length, same curve at the hilt. But she said she didn't see the weapon. Said he surprised her. Said it was all a blur. And yet, here it is. Before the attack, before the blood, waiting. You approach it slowly, like it might still bite. Next to it, a photograph. You, taken from across the street. The day she arrived at your door, you're unlocking your mailbox, unaware, unarmed, exposed. Everyone lies, especially the ones who come to you for protection. You knew, but pretended you didn't. In the bathroom, the mirror's been wiped clean in the middle fingerprints in the mist around it. Drawn into the steam, a shape, a loop again, open at one end, incomplete. She wants you to follow her. You flush the toilet, just to leave a trace, just in case the police ever come. You don't touch the knife, but you take the photo. Outside, the clerk watches you from the window. You nod. He nods back. No questions, only acknowledgement. Like he's seen this kind of story before. Like it always starts with a woman like her and ends with someone like you. Alone, searching, marked. You sit in your car, engine cold. The photo shakes in your hands. On the back, in the same red lipstick I left this for you, because you wanted it. And below that, a number. You dial it. It rings once, then disconnects. A text arrives. Wrong question. Try again. You type, "What do you want?" No reply. Then your own phone buzzes. New voicemail. You play it. No voice, just the ticking clock. And behind it, breathing, hers, slow, controlled, like she's not scared at all, like she's waiting. Her therapist died in a fire, or so she claimed. You drive 6 hours west to find someone who isn't supposed to exist. Her file, the one you piece together from scraps and social searches, mentioned a therapist, Dr. Emery Lane. She said he died in a fire 2 years ago. Said it shattered her. But grief doesn't leave fingerprints unless it needs an alibi. So you dig. Public records list Dr. Lane as deceased, but the obituary is thin. No cause of death, no memorial, no survivors. You dig deeper. One archived thread on a mental health forum mentions Dr. Lane in the present tense. Still does trauma sessions, quiet guy, but sharp. The post is dated 6 months ago. You find the address attached to his license. A cottage-style office off a side road, curtains drawn, sign faded, but a car out front, and movement behind the glass. You knock. The door opens a crack. A man stares at you. Grey beard, tired eyes, hesitates. Yes, you hold your breath. Dr. Lane. He doesn't answer. You say the name, Chloe. His face drops. He opens the door wider. She's still using that name. You nod. He exhales like he's just swallowed glass. She told me she stopped. Stopped what? Playing victim? You knew, but pretended you didn't. He leads you inside. No fire damage, no ashes, no ghost. The office is intact. Books, files, that ever-present ticking clock. She told me you were dead. You say, she tells everyone that. He says, she needs people to believe she's the only one who survived. He doesn't sound angry, just disappointed. She said someone tried to kill her. You add, Lane laughs. Not cruel, just tired. She once claimed she had a twin sister who died in a bathtub. He says she's slippery. You hesitate. So she's lying. Doctor? Lane shrugs. She believes her lies while she tells them. That's the difference. You glance around the room. A photo frame on the shelf is turned face down. You lift it. She's in it. Smiling, arm around Dr. Lane. Date stamped 3 months ago. You put it back. I need to find her. You say. He sighs. That's what they all say. You frown. They all the men she attaches to. He says. She moves from savior to savior, makes them feel needed, then leaves just enough damage to keep them wondering if they broke her or if she broke them. Your phone buzzes. New message. From her. I'm not who you think I am, but neither are you. You glance at Dr. Lane. Do you think she's dangerous? He doesn't answer right away. Then, she's whatever you want her to be. That's the danger. You leave. The ticking clock still echoing in your ears. It follows you to your car, to your thoughts, to the next question. Who are you in her story? Hero or footnote? Everyone lies, especially the ones who let you believe they died for you. The letter you weren't meant to open it. It arrives in your mailbox. No stamp, no return address, just your name, handwritten in blue ink, too careful, too neat. You almost don't open it, but the envelope is sealed with lipstick. Not glue, a kiss, like a dare. Inside, a single sheet, folded in thirds. You unfold it, and time slows. It's not addressed to you, it's addressed to him. Dear Caleb, you stop breathing. Your hands tremble. The ink runs slightly, like it was written in a rush, or while crying, or while pretending to cry. You read on. I hate that I have to do this. But it's the only way you'll listen. They don't believe me. They never do. You know how that feels. You said you'd protect me. But protection looks like silence now, doesn't it? I'm sorry I dragged him into this, but he was watching anyway. He wanted to be the good guy. So, I let him. If he finds this, then he's already chosen a side. I didn't lie. I just remembered things. Out of order. No signature, no date, no conclusion. Just that line, I didn't lie. I just remembered things. Out of order. You reread it 3 times. Each time, it feels different. A confession, a manipulation, a warning. What if she didn't write it? What if he did? You check the envelope again. No fingerprints, no ink smudge, no trace, except on the inside corner, something glints. A small sticker, circular, black with a white loop, open-ended, incomplete. The same symbol she left in the mirror. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You flipped the paper over. Nothing, except one faint indentation, something once written, then erased. You rub a pencil across it. Letters rise from the fibers. 2 words, don't follow, but you're already too deep. Your phone buzzes. Unknown number. A text. You read it, didn't you? Then another good. That means it's working. You step back inside your apartment. Something feels off. The windows open. Curtains swaying. The air smells like jasmine again. And something else, burned paper. You rush to the trash. The other photos, gone. The mug, gone. The couch cushion, rearranged and on your wall, drawn in steam. Truth is just memory with a motive. Everyone lies, especially the ones who leave clues they know you'll chase. The witness who never existed. You decide to visit the alley again. The one where she first appeared, barefoot, bleeding, innocent, or so she said. Maybe there's something you missed the first time, or maybe you just need to see it without her in it. The street is quieter now. No sirens, no storm water, no ghostly footsteps, but something's changed. A new camera installed above the corner bodega. You head inside. The clerk doesn't look up. You have footage from last week, you ask. He shrugs. Depends. You slide a 20 across the counter. He shrugs again, then disappears into the back. A few minutes later, he emerges with a USB stick. Hope you like watching lies in high def, he mutters. You plug it into your laptop right there on the counter. Fast forward to the time she said she stumbled into your life. 2:08 a.m. There's the alley. There's the shadow of your building. There's the rain. But no Chloe. No barefoot woman. No blood. Nothing. Not at 2:08. Not at 2:09. Not at any time between 1 and 3. You rewind. Pause. Scrub forward. Check every angle. Still nothing. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You were home by then. You opened the door for her, but she didn't come from outside. So where did she come from? You return to your apartment. Pull up your building's security feed. You've never checked it before. You always assumed the cameras were just for show. But when you log in, there she is. CQIM, emerging from the stairwell inside the building, from below, the basement, not the alley, not the street. She didn't run to you. She came from you. You descend to the basement. The light flickers, smells like rust and mold. Your storage locker is open. You never open it. Inside dust, boxes, a few old tools, and tucked behind the shelving unit, a blanket, a teacup, and a tiny black digital recorder, still blinking. You press play. It's her voice. Day 4. He still doesn't suspect. He wants to believe he saved me. He needs to. I left the voicemail today. I hope it lands. You press stop. The need to throw up comes quick and heavy. Everyone lies, especially the ones who train you to be their witness. You sit on the floor, eyes wide, stomach twisting. Above you, a soft knock echoes from your front door. You rush up, heart sprinting. No one's there. Just a single envelope. Inside a photo. You, sleeping again. But this time, she's in the shot too. Closer, smiling, and written along the bottom in smudged lipstick. Halfway there. The childhood drawing that didn't match the crime scene. You try to slow your breath, but it comes out in shallow jolts, half air, half memory. She's watching you, still, from some corner you can't see. But she sees you, always has. You search the photo again, the one left at the door. The sheets, the angle, the distance. She had to have taken it from inside the apartment, not through the window, not from the hallway. You were asleep. You always lock the doors. You always think you're careful, but everyone lies, especially about how safe they are. You go back to the basement. There's a plastic bin labeled childhood. Old notebooks, class photos, report cards. You haven't looked through it in years. Buried beneath construction paper and sun-faded certificates is a drawing, crayon, on thick celluloid paper. A house with a red roof, two stick figures, a taller one labeled me, and beside it, her. No one in your family remembers you having a sister, but here she is, drawn in crooked lines and anxious color. She's holding something, a knife, not scribbled in its gray, deliberate, and behind the house, a third figure, smaller, face crossed out in black. You stare at it long enough to feel time bend. You flip it over. In childish scrawl, she said he had to go. A knock pulls you out of the memory. Not the front door, the back. You check your camera. Nothing. You creep to the back staircase. No movement. But taped to the railing, another envelope. Inside another drawing. Same style, same red roof house. But this one is dated today. It's not your drawing. It's hers. The figures are the same. Only now there's fire behind the house. The figure labeled me has a smile. Her figure is holding the knife higher now, more proud. And the crossed out figure, still there. But this time, instead of black scribbles, it's labeled the truth. You flip the page over. Nothing. Until you tilt it in the light, faintly scratched into the paper. It was never about him. You call Dr. Lane, straight to voicemail. You call the detective. Voicemail? Your phone buzzes with a message from her. You found it, didn't you? Then another. The memory was always yours. I just made you see it. You drop the drawing. It doesn't feel like childhood anymore. It feels like confession. You go to the mirror, the one you haven't looked into since this started. You wipe the fog away, your face, your eyes, but written at the base of the glass, in barely there red. What else have you forgotten? You knew, but pretended you didn't. Until now, the voice on the tape was your own. You dig the recorder out of your pocket again. Its weight feels different now, heavier, personal, like a pulse in your hand. It's not just her voice you're afraid to hear anymore. You rewind, press play, static, then the familiar softness of her tone. He's close now. I think he's starting to remember. Then silence. Then your voice, not in memory, not in narration, not from a call or voicemail, but from this recorder, from you. Keep recording. It'll help me track what's real. You freeze. The timestamp says 6 nights ago, the night she first appeared. You play more. Another clip. Your voice again. Tired. Shaky. If I forget again, remind me. But not all at once. That's when it cracks. You stare at the walls around you like they've been listening this whole time. The fridge hums louder. The air feels thick. Your stomach churns with the weight of too many forgotten truths. You never remembered making those recordings because you weren't supposed to. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You press further. A recording from 3 days ago. She's not lying. Not exactly. She's keeping balance. Then her voice, gentle, calm, like she's talking to a child. Do you remember the basement? Do you remember why we stopped going there? Silence. Then your voice again. I wasn't supposed to be there. Click. You throw the recorder across the room. It hits the wall and splits open, but not completely. The batteries stay in. The LED still blinks. One final recording begins to autoplay. No voice, just breathing. Then the sound of chalk on pavement. Slow, intentional, and a ticking clock. That same damn ticking. You follow it, down the stairs, out into the street. And there, under the glow of a crooked street lamp, you see it, drawn in chalk on the sidewalk, the loop, but this time closed. No break, no escape. A full circle, a symbol of completion, of return. You drop to your knees. Beside it, a note on motel paper, folded, crisp, clean. You open it. I never lied. I only rearranged the order. You're ready now. Your hands shake. You turn it over. A phone number. Yours, your own number. Your phone buzzes in your pocket. Unknown caller. You answer. No one speaks. Just breathing. Yours. Looped. Recorded. Everyone lies. Especially the ones who think they're finally telling the truth. The final alias was yours all along. The pieces are falling too fast now. You barely sleep, barely eat. Not because you can't, but because your body doesn't know what's real anymore. You sit in front of your laptop, staring at the note with your own number, staring at the name she gave the Motel Jane. So benign, so forgettable. You dig through every ID record, every background check, every form you filled out over the last decade. And then, there it is, a lease application, 5 years ago, emergency contact line left blank. But the signature, it's not your handwriting, not exactly, not unless you were trying to hide your real one. Signed Jane Hollow. You pause. It doesn't feel like a name anymore. It feels like a part of you you left behind, or let her borrow. You search the name online. One hit, a court transcript, a restraining order filed by a man named Caleb Ward against Jane Hollow, filed 3 years ago, withdrawn. No reason given, no address provided, just one comment from the judge. The respondent exhibited signs of identity confusion, possible dissociative episodes, referred to mental health services. You feel the floor beneath you warp, like the truth is dragging you into a memory you never agreed to recall. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You print the document. On the back, you scribble one line. Who is she, if not me? You call Dr. Lane again. Still no answer. So you drive back to the cottage. This time, the doors unlocked. Inside dark. Quiet. Book still there. Clock still ticking. But Lane is gone. On the table, a folder labeled Patient 217 Hollow. J. You open it. There's no photo, but you don't need one. The notes are yours. Familiar phrases, emotional outbursts, guilt patterns. One page reads, patient believes she can split truth into multiple versions and assign them to others, currently projecting trauma onto an invented victim persona. When cornered, becomes both narrator and antagonist. You sit down. The chair creaks like it remembers you. Next to the folder, a small voice recorder, same model as the one she left you. You press play, your voice again. If I hear this, it means I've lost track again. Don't trust her. Don't trust me. Just follow the trail back to the fire, then static, then her voice. We are not separate. We are just what happens when memory needs a villain. The file ends. You stare at the recorder, and for the first time you don't feel fear. You feel recognition. Everyone lies, especially the ones who create someone else to hold their guilt. Word count 1 man armor 98. Awaiting, continue. Ban Danoi. Continue. ChatGPT Danoi. Section 14, the fire report that was never filed. You drive through the night, straight to the ruins of the old Meridian Club again. This time, not to look for her, to look for yourself. You climb over the collapsed barricades. The ash crunches beneath your boots. Rain spatters down in tired rhythms, soaking the charred remains. The place is quieter than before, like it's waiting for something to be uncovered. In your hand, the fire marshal's contact. You called him once, left a message. Now, as the wind scrapes the walls like fingernails, your phone buzzes, voicemail transcription. You open it, strange thing. That fire, we don't have a final report on it. Just a note, probable electrical malfunction, but no sign of wiring issues, no bodies, no injuries filed. But someone left a burn mark in the shape of a loop on the inside of the west wall. Looks branded. Your pulse kicks. You walk toward the west wall, flashlight beam cutting through the dark like a scalpel through memory. There it is, a faint ring, almost invisible, under soot. The closed loop again, a full circle, no break. You reach out, brush your fingers over the scorch. Still warm. How then? At your feet, buried in debris, a notebook, half burned, blackened cover, pages curled. You open it gently. Inside, fragments, written in looping script. Hers, yours. You can't tell anymore. He watched it burn. She said it wasn't real, but the pain stayed. Sometimes, the only way to forget is to set fire to what remembers. Then a list. Alias, Chloe Marks. Alias, Jane Hollow. Alias, your name. Next to each, activated. Final line, scrawled across the bottom. Burn the evidence. Keep the story. Your flashlight flickers, dies. In the dark, you hear breathing, not behind you, inside you. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You whisper aloud, "Who started the fire?" A voice answers from nowhere, but it's yours. You did. You just needed someone else to remember it for you. A sudden gust rips through the club. Ash swirls, pages scatter, and there caught midair, another photograph. You grab it. A shot of the club. From the inside, the night of the fire, you're standing in the corner, not running, not calling for help, just watching. And behind you, her, no blood, no tears, just smiling, like she's already been forgiven. You drop the photo. Rain hits it, warps the edges, but the faces stay, permanent. Everyone lies, especially the ones who watch the world burn, then call it trauma. The confession, hidden in a children's book. You return home, unsure if you're escaping something or bringing it back with you. You drop your keys, lock the door, then lock it again. And again, your apartment feels quieter now, but not safer. There's a package waiting, brown paper, no address, no tape. You don't open it right away. You study it like it might pulse or bite. Eventually, you do. Inside a book, Hardcover. A children's book. The Girl Who Couldn't Cry. The author's name, Jane Hollow. No publisher. No barcode. No copyright page. It looks handmade. Illustrations in chalky watercolors. The text in blocky, unsteady print. You flip to the first page. Once there was a girl who saw too much. She learned early that tears only slowed things down. So she stayed dry-eyed and watched everyone else drown. You turn the page. A drawing of a house burning. A child standing in front, expressionless. In the flames a loop, a full circle, etched in fire. You turn another page. A line drawn through the child's face. They said she was the victim, but sometimes the victim holds the match. Your hands are trembling now. You flip to the back, taped to the final page a photograph. Black and white, grainy. It's your childhood bedroom. And on the floor, a drawing pad. The same drawing you found in the storage bin. The knife, the crossed out face. But this one has a name scrawled under it. Truth. You flip the book upside down, trying to shake loose more meaning, and something does fall out. A flash drive. You plug it into your laptop. One folder, titled Do Not Watch. You open it. A video file. No timestamp, no title. You press play. The image flickers, then stabilizes. You, sitting on the floor, in your apartment, eyes hollow, speaking to the camera. She's not coming back, because she was never outside me to begin with. You rewind, play it again. I built her to carry the memory. But now the memory is bleeding back. The screen glitches. Then her voice, you said you'd protect me. But maybe I was just the part of you wanted to forget. The screen goes black. Then one final line appears, typed in white. The lie was never hers. It was yours. You slam the laptop shut. The lights in your apartment dim for half a second. Then return. The silence hums with knowledge now. Everyone lies, especially the ones who invent a victim just to feel like a hero again. The neighbor's statement. You never gave you. Wake to knocking. 3 soft taps. Then silence. You lie there for a moment, holding your breath like it's evidence. Then you rise. At the door, no one. Just a voice recorder. Same model. Same blinking light. This one's labeled in Sharpie Playback Unit 4C. Testimony. That's your apartment number. But you never gave a statement. You press play. The voice is unfamiliar at first. Female. Older. Nervous. Your neighbor? The one who always walks her dog late at night. You barely speak to her, but she knows more than you ever said. He's been acting strange again, talking to himself. At first I thought it was phone calls, but there's never a phone. Then he started leaving notes on his door. Weird notes. Things like, don't let her in again. And she's still inside. A pause. Then last Tuesday, I saw him in the hallway. He was wearing different shoes, a dress shirt, like he was someone else. He smiled at me, but his eyes were off, like they weren't attached to the smile. Another pause. Then she whispers, sometimes I hear 2 voices, but it's always just him. You stop the recording. Your heart pounds. You remember Tuesday, don't you? The shirt. Maybe, but the smile, the notes. You check your front door. No notes now. But as you look closer, there are faint tape marks, as if something was removed. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You check your closet. Buried behind your jacket's a shoebox. Inside, a red lighter, a lipstick tube, a motel napkin, one Polaroid, you and her standing beside each other, but your face is blurred, shaken, like you moved at the last second. And a scrap of paper, torn, faded, on it. When she stops lying, you'll have to start. Your head spins. You sit on the floor, box beside you, then notice carved into the bottom of the box, deep and erratic. You weren't the witness. You were the script. You grab your phone, no signal, no Wi-Fi, just one notification, new voicemail. You press play. Her voice again. You're almost there, but you won't like what's left. Heroes forget. Villains record. Click. Silence. Everyone lies, especially the ones who document the story just to erase themselves from it. The missing police report. You somehow wrote. You go back to the precinct, not through the front door. You wait until after hours, when the lights are dimmed and the building hums with old coffee and bored silence. You still have that access card swiped from your old contact on the inside. He used to trust you, used to think you were just trying to help her. You're not sure he was wrong. You're not sure he was right. The evidence room is colder than you remember. You log into the system. Query marks. Chloe, nothing. Query, Jane Hollow, nothing. But when you type your name, something strange happens. Not a hit. A prompt. Continue unsaved report. Your stomach drops. You click yes. The screen loads a document dated 3 weeks ago. Authored by you, but you don't remember writing it. Header, incident report, suspect statement, unofficial. The body of the text. She knocked at 2:17 a.m. Claimed she was attacked. No ID, just bruises and blood. She said her name was Chloe, then said it wasn't. She said she'd explain, but only if I listened without looking too hard. She said, "You don't rescue people like me, you rewrite them." Your fingers hover above the keyboard. The report continues. I started recording our conversations, not for the case, for continuity, because each time she told the story, it changed. Not by much, just enough to matter. She said, "I didn't lie. I just took turns being the truth." Then one night I asked, "Why me?" And she said, "Because you still believe victims don't lie." You scroll to the end. The signature line is filled in. Your name in your handwriting. But there's something under it. Faint. You tilt the screen, scrawled into the glare of your own reflection. Delete this if you want to sleep. Save it if you want to know what you really did. You click. Save. The computer buzzes once, then freezes. Blue screen. You back away slowly. As you turn to leave, a light flickers on in the hallway. A silhouette stands behind the frosted glass of the door. Slender, motionless. She doesn't knock. You don't move. Then she lifts her hand and writes something on the glass with her finger. 4 words. Backwards. You read them in reverse. You did this first. Then she's gone. You rush outside. Nothing. Just the night and the wind and the ticking in your ears. You check your phone. New message. No contact name. Just a sentence. If the truth hurts, maybe it's because it remembers you. Everyone lies, especially the ones who think a deleted file can erase a pattern. The trial transcript, where she defended you. Morning arrives without light, just gray, heavy, like the sky finally understands the weight of memory. You sit on your couch, wrapped in silence, holding a folder that shouldn't exist. Found in your mailbox this time, no note, no label, but inside a court transcript, your name at the top, not as witness, not as plaintiff, but as defendant. Date, 2 years ago. You don't remember a courtroom. You don't remember a trial. You remember her, and she remembers everything. You flip to the first page. A judge asks, "Do you understand the charges against you?" Then a name responds, "Not yours, hers." "Yes, Your Honor." You freeze. The entire transcript, page after page, is Chloe testifying, not against you, For you. He didn't know what he was doing. He thought I was someone else. He needed me to be a victim so he could stay innocent. You blink hard because this isn't just metaphor anymore. This is a proceeding. And yet, there's no record of it online. No docket number, no public file. You keep reading. She describes nights that don't exist, or didn't. He found the night first. That's what triggered it. He thought the fire was about justice, but it was just heat trying to cauterize guilt. He started calling me Chloe after he couldn't bear to hear his own name attached to the screams. Page after page of poetic reasoning, emotional defense, not just for you, but for herself. The judge asks her, "Why are you protecting someone who might not be real?" Her answer, "Because he's what's left. When I stop lying, because I'm the lie that tells the truth." Your head throbs. You flip to the final page. Verdict, case dismissed. Not innocent. Not guilty. Just erased. You check the footnotes. There's a phrase marked in pencil redacted under clause 4, constructed narrative defense. You Google it. No results. But in your search history, it appears twice. Last accessed 2 months ago. By you. You knew, but pretended you didn't. You shut the laptop. Your reflection in the dark screen flickers once, then changes. Just enough to feel like her. Just enough to feel like you. Your phone buzzes. A new voicemail. No words. Just audio of courtroom applause. Slow. Unreal. Then her voice. You were never on trial. You just needed a reason to forget what you did when no one was watching. Everyone lies, especially the ones who write their own defense and cast themselves as the witness, the victim, and the accused. The last message wasn't meant for you. You're unraveling, but not like a thread, more like a map being folded the wrong way, creases in the wrong places, destinations lost between the lines. You sit at the kitchen table with every piece in front of you, the children's book, the court transcript, the photos, the drawings, the scorched circle traced in soot, and the recorder. The blinking light pulses like a dying star. There's only one file left, no label. You press play. It's her voice, but softer now, tired. This isn't for you. It's for whoever finds you. You tense. He thought he could hide the truth by splitting it into roles, but memory doesn't divide, it infects. And now the lines are gone. A faint laugh. He called me Chloe, Jane, a liar, a ghost. But the truth was always the part he was running from. He just made me wear it. Your pulse beats against your throat. If you're listening, then he's gone. But he'll come back. He always comes back. The voice fades. Silence. Then a second voice enters. Yours. Calm. Almost neutral. Like reading a recipe. Subject created victim persona to bypass accountability. Reinforced through daily journaling, object placement, and staged memory gaps. Reality retained only through third-person narrative projections. Narrator identity. Unstable. You stop the recording. Your hand is shaking because you remember now, not all of it, but the beginning, the real beginning. Before Chloe, before the motel, before the fire, there was a lie. A single moment you didn't want to own, so you built someone else to carry it. You didn't bury the evidence, you performed it again and again, and now, the curtains falling, you look to the mirror on the wall, your face stares back, but something's written in condensation again, words forming on the inside. The truth isn't buried, it's rehearsed. Your phone buzzes, no number, just a message, a file, audio, You press play, your voice, again. Don't trust her. Don't trust me. Just make sure someone's listening when it happens again. You knew, but pretended you didn't. Now there's no pretending left. Everyone lies, especially the ones who practice their confession like a bedtime story. The memory you swore never happened. You go back, not to the alley, not to the cottage, not to the precinct or the motel. You go to the house, that house, the one from the drawing. Red roof, fenced yard, 3 windows across the second story. The one you haven't spoken about in 15 years. You park across the street. It hasn't changed. Not on the outside, but something is breathing in the walls. You can feel it, like the place is still exhaling your name after all these years. You walk up the path, each step a splinter in time. The front door is cracked. You step inside. No lights, no sound, but the air is warm, like the fire never really stopped. The wallpaper is the same, that sickly yellow, faded in all the places you used to hide. In the living room, scattered pages, dozens of them, all printed transcripts of your own voice from Erwinichie, every recording. Every one of them ends the same way I didn't know what else to do. In the hallway, the mirror is broken. Just like in the drawing, only one shard remains attached to the wall. It reflects your face, but her eyes. You walk into what used to be your bedroom. It's empty, except for the floorboards. They've been pried open. Inside the cavity, a child's backpack, a tape recorder, a small journal. You flip through the pages. Tiny handwriting, uncertain, but painfully familiar. She says, he didn't mean to do it. She says, I have to forget. She says, I can live longer if I stay invisible. At the bottom of the last page. But I remember now, and I think I'm her. Or she's me. Or maybe we're just what happens when guilt lives too long without air. The air turns electric. You feel something shift behind you. A shadow, a breath. You don't turn around. You speak aloud instead. I know what happened. I know what I did. And from behind you a voice, not hers, not yours, but both. That's the only truth that matters. You close your eyes, inhale the dust, the ash, the memory. You knew, but pretended you didn't. Now you know, and you'll never pretend again. Everyone lies, especially the ones who split themselves into pieces so they can tell the story without ever saying, I did it. You leave the house before sunrise. No sirens, no answers, just the whisper of gravel beneath your shoes and a shadow that no longer needs to chase you. It's inside you now, quiet, familiar, finally acknowledged. You drive without a destination. Rain taps the windshield like a metronome for memory. Each drop a beat you once skipped. Each mile another truth you stopped avoiding. You don't cry. You don't scream. Because there's no one left to perform for. There's no trial. No resolution. No clean ending in the shape of justice. Just you. And whatever you are when the lies run out. The fire didn't cleanse, the silence didn't protect, and she was never a villain. She was a mask you wore to survive yourself, and when the mask cracked, it didn't reveal a hero, just someone scared to be seen. You roll down the window, let the wind in, let it tear through the final pages, let it carry the evidence far from here, and still you wonder, what happens when memory returns, when the mirror doesn't flicker, when no one answers the phone, because there was never anyone on the other end? What happens when you run out of other people to blame? Maybe you'll find peace, maybe you'll find penance, or maybe you'll start again. New name, new story, new lie, because the truth, it doesn't rest, it just waits. And when it's quiet enough, when no one's watching, it knocks again. So sleep now, if you can. Lock your doors, breathe deep, but don't forget, end of script. Sleep well and watch your back.